Hi guys, welcome to my channel, and today in this video we are going to discuss readers writers problem. So guys, for the full video, all of you stay tuned.
Jetli.
So guys, in this video we are going to study what is the readers writers problem. So what are the effects of that problem and what is a solution of that problem. Okay, so guys, before we start, I would like to tell you like there are multiple solutions for it. Okay, but today in this video we are going to discuss how we can solve the problem of readers writers using monitors. So guys, the first thing, so what is readers writers problem? Okay, now this problem states like suppose we have a database or a file which is shared by multiple processes, and some of the processes they just want to access it, means they just want to read that file or database, but some of the processes at the same time they want to change the value, okay, in that database. They want to make changes in that database or files. In the other words, they want to write onto that file. Okay, so guys, like both these readers and writers should be synchronized. Okay, so if we do not synchronize, then it will have some side effects. Okay, so what is the readers writers problem? Suppose I have a database, okay, I call it as DB. Okay, so it is shared by multiple threads. Okay, it is accessed by multiple threads, and some of them want to read it. So I will call them as thread R, R1, R2, R3. Okay, these threads they want to read the data. Okay, so whatever the data is, they just want to access it. They don't want anything else. Okay, but at the same time there are some other threads, okay, who want to write into that, who wants to update the data in this database. I call them as writer 0, writer 1, writer 2. So they want to read it, they want to write onto it. Okay, and all of them want to do everything concurrently. They want to do everything at the same time. Okay, so when this thing happens, when all the different threads, some of them wants to read the data, some of them wants to write to the database. Okay, so then at the same time, then it will cause some problems. Okay, so those problems are the effects of readers writers problem. Okay, now we are studying what effects, okay, or what problems they will cause if multiple threads want to do read and write on the same database without proper synchronization. So what is going to be the effects of it? Now guys, we will discuss what are the going to be side effect of the readers writers problem if we do not synchronize the readers and writers thread. Okay, so guys, I identified 4 different types of problem, okay, which can be the side effects of readers writers problem if they are not synchronized properly. So the first one is dirty read, second one is lost update, third one is unrepeatable read, and the last one is phantom read. So guys, now I am going to discuss them one by one. So guys, the first side effect of readers writers problem is dirty read. Okay, now you know what is the readers writers problem. We have some database. Okay, so that database have some data. Suppose my database has a variable called as x, and the present value of x is 6. Okay, now what is happening? I did not synchronize my readers and writers, so I have multiple readers, for example R1, R2, and I have multiple writers also, W1, W2. Okay, now they all are trying to use the data in the database at the same time without proper synchronization. Suppose guys, my writer W1, okay, it is trying to update the value of x from x to 6 to 7, from 6 to 7. Before this update can take effect, So what happens, this writer 1, it fails to complete his operation. It fails to complete his operation. Now, ideally, what system should do? Now, this was trying to change it. Okay, it made it 7 also, but before it could end it. Okay, this thread failed. This thread failed. Now, ideally, what happens if some thread fails? So we have to revert back to the previous values. So what was the previous value? Previous value was 6. Okay. Now what is happening? Since multiple processes are reading and writing, my W1 writer, it wanted to change from 6 to 7. It made it 7. Okay. The moment it made it 7, okay, writer R1 read this value. Okay. Writer, because they are not synchronized, they are accessing it at the same time. Writer R1 accessed this value. After R1 has accessed this value, my writer W1, it failed. It failed. Then what happened? So the system reverted back the value of 7 to the original value because the thread which was updating it failed. Okay. So but before it could change it back to 6, R1 has already read it as 7. So which read is this? So R1 is reading a dirty value. Okay, R1 is reading a dirty value. Okay, so what is this thing called as? It is called as a dirty read. So multiple threads. So one is trying to change. So the moment it changed, some other thread read that value. Okay, and the thread which was trying to change, it failed. So the system reverted back to the previous stage. Its system wanted to restore the original value because this operation has failed. Okay, so what this is reading? This is reading 7. So after some time, thread R2 is also reading. So now what R2 will read? R2 will read it as 6. So what is this problem? This problem is called as a dirty read. So guys, the next side effect of readers writers problem is lost update. That is number 2. So what is happening in lost update? Now suppose this is my database. Here my X is having 6 as the value. Now concurrently two threads, since they are not synchronized, they are trying to change the value of X. Now my thread W1 so wants to change the X to X plus 2. What it should be? It should be 8. It should be 8. Now guys, since both the threads are not synchronized, while W1 is trying to make X as 8, W2 thread executes successfully. So what it gets also? It also gets 6. 6 plus 10, it makes it as 16. It makes it as 16. Now what happens is my update done by W1 is lost. Ideally, what should be my value? My value should be 18. My value should be 18. So what happened? Before this could take effect, this read the old value of X and made it as 16. So now what is my new value of X? It becomes 16. So this update is lost. So what is this problem called as? It is called as lost update. Now guys, at the same time, if I have readers also, so while this has just changed the value, this reader R1 read it the value as 8 because all are doing concurrently, isn't it? All are running concurrently. And this thread W2, he may read at this thread R2. There is another thread who is also trying to read. He may read 8, he may read 16, but the actual value is 18. Actual value should be 18. So this update has been lost. So this is another side effect of readers writers problem. Now guys, the third side effect is unrepeatable read. Okay, this is very simple to explain and understand. Suppose I have two readers, R1 and R2. Okay, and I have one writer also, W1. Okay, so R1, so they all are running concurrently. Now first R1 reads the database and it gets the value as 6. 6. Okay, before R2 could do the read, so W1, it changed the value from 6 to 8. It changed the value from 6 to 8. Okay, so what R2 reads? R2 reads it as 8. Now what is happening? So both the read operations were done approximately at the same time, because in concurrency we say everything is happening at the almost at the same time. Now both the read operations are done at the same time, but both the read operations, they are reading a different values. So this is 6, this is 8. Ideally both should read 6 or both should read 8. So what is this thing called as? It is called as unrepeatable read problem. So guys, now the fourth and the last side effect of readers writers problem. Okay, we call it as phantom read. Now what happens is, I have my database, I have these readers and I have one writer. So readers are reading it and writers want to update the database, and all of them they want to do at almost same time, or all of them want to do it concurrently. Okay, now what is my phantom read? Phantom read says, suppose R1, it read the database and it got the value 6. After R1 has finished the read, R2 reads the database and it gets the value 6. Okay, after R2, again R1 wants to read the database. Okay, but before R1 could read the database, my writer thread W1, it deleted the value. It deleted the value of X. Now R1 wants to read the database to get the value of X, but W1, writer, already deleted the value of X. So this read operation will fail, isn't it? So what is happening? One read successful, another read successful. Before we could do the third read, the writer deleted the data. Okay, now the data is not available. What do we call it? We call it as phantom read problem. Okay, so guys, these are the three sides effects of readers writers problem which may occur when we do not synchronize the readers writers threads. Okay, now in this video, as I told you, we are going to discuss the solution to this problem using monitors. Okay, so in the next part of this video, I will just talk something about the monitors. Then we are going to move to PC, where we will track the or trace the algo for solving the readers writers problem. Now guys, the solution of readers writers problems using monitors. Before we started, what is a monitor? Guys, monitor are the features which come with programming languages which have the capacity of hiding the data, or encapsulating the data, and they can control which thread can access that data based upon some condition. So what are these called as? These called as monitors. So what we will do, in order to solve the readers writers problem, we will put our database inside a monitor. Okay, so then that monitor will decide which thread will do the read operation and which thread will do the write operation based upon some condition. Okay, so but to solve this problem, what is the condition? They say we can allow multiple readers to read at the same time. We can allow multiple readers to read the database at the same time. Okay, because reading is not changing or updating or deleting the data. They are just trying to get the value. So even if multiple readers can read it at the same time, we have no issues. Okay, but when a writer wants to write to that database at a time, only one writer can access the database. So if W1 is accessing the database, so then there should be no reader or no other writer which is writing onto this database. So what is the solution? So multiple readers can read the data at the same time, but at a time only one writer will write when there is no other writer writing on the database, and when there is no other reader who is trying to read the database. Okay, and this can be implemented using monitor. So monitor will check the condition whether there is any other writer who is writing it. If there is any writer who is writing it, it will not allow any other reader or any other writer to access the database. Okay, and if there is no writer, okay, and we have one reader who wants to read the database and we have another reader who also wants to read the database, since it is doing only the read operation, it can allow multiple readers to read the database. So this solution is implemented using monitors. So in next part of this video, we are going to discuss the algorithm for the monitors.
So guys, now we will observe the solution to readers writers problem using monitor. Okay, so guys, now here is my database. Okay, so my database will be declared inside a, so here is the body of my monitor. Okay, so I have one variable called as reader count. It will count total number of readers who are reading the database. So then I have two boolean variables. One is db reading. So if any reader is reading the database, okay, so then this variable will be set to true. And I have db writing. So if any writer is writing the database, so then this variable will be set to true. So here are the initial values, because since there is no reader or writer doing anything on my database, so my reader count is 0, my db reading is false, my db writing is false. And guys, all the read operations will call two methods. One is called as start read, another one is called as end read. Okay, similarly, all the writers, they will also call the two methods. One is start write, another one is end write. So guys, this is my monitor. So it has three variables. So reader count, db reading, db writing. And initially we are setting the reader count to 0, db writing to false, and db reading also to false. And all the read and write operations, so we'll call two methods. One is start read, end read to end the read, and to start write when you want to write, and you call when you have finished writing, you will call end write. Okay, so guys, now we will see these methods, implementation of these methods. Okay, so before we start, these are our variables. Okay, reader count, db reading, db writing, we will write them. So I will write here reader count small, initially it is, I have db and I have write it here db write. To get initially reader count is 0, this is false, and this is, here is my, okay, these are the values. I made them short, that is db writing, db reading, reader count. Okay, now suppose there is one reader r1. Suppose there is one reader r1. It wants to do the read. It wants to do the read operation. Now here is a while loop. In while loop there is a condition which will be checked. While db writing is equal to true. Now what is my db writing is false. So this will not exist. This will not exist, and the control will jump here. Why? Because this condition does not hold. Okay, my db writing is false, and we are checking if it is true. If it is true, means already there is some other thread which is doing the write operation on my database. So it will jump here. So then plus reader. So whatever my reader count is, I increment it. My reader count is 0, so I make it 1. Okay, then if reader count is equal to 1, so reader count is 1, then set db reading to, okay, so this was my db reading, so I have to make it true, means some operation is already, some thread is already reading the data. So thread r1 started the read operation, and I return the reader. Okay, my reader is 1 and r1 is, no, suppose after some time another, to the read, right? Thread R2. Okay, again we come here. DB writing is equal to true, so DB writing is false. So we will jump from here to here. Plus plus reader count. Okay, so my reader count is 1. Will become what? Become 2. If DB writing is equal to true. Okay, if DB and no, I'll set my, okay, so my reader count will become 2. Then again the condition will be checked. If reader count is equal to 1. Okay, so this condition does not hold, so we return the reader. Count is 2. Okay, suppose I have another who wants to do read operation. Again, DB writing true? No, it is false. So we come here. Plus plus reader count. What is the new reader count? Okay, so if reader count is equal to 1, it is not 1. Come here, return the reader count. What is the new reader count? Is 3. Now what is happening? Now at a time, my 3 threads are doing the read operation. Now while 3 are doing the read operation, now suppose I have another thread, write w. It wants to write the database. So this is my start read. Now let us observe my start write. While DB reading is equal to true or DB writing is equal to true, what is happening at, what is happening here? So DB reading is true, DB writing is false, but that is OR. So one of them is true. So it means what happens? Now while DB reading is true. So what you do is wait. Until when you wait, until this condition change, until this condition. So when 3 threads are reading, what he has to do? He has to, now suppose my thread R1 finished. So then what when it has to finish the read, so we will call the method called as end read. So minus reader count. So my reader count was what? My reader count was 3. I will decrement it. So what it will become? It will become 2. It will become 2. R1 has finished. No, I have only 2 threads who are doing the read operation. That is R2 and R3. Suppose my R2 also finished. It will also call and read. So minus reader count. So what will be the new reader count? New reader count will be, okay, if reader count is equal to 0, reader count is not 0. Still there is one reader who is doing the read operation. Okay, so then this will not be activated, this will not be executed, return the reader, which is after some time. Suppose R3 has also finished. What we do is minus reader count. So reader count was 1, so we will decrement it. We will make it what? We will make it 0. Okay, so then what if reader count is equal to 0? Notify all. So then the signal to set the signal to all the waiting process, like there is no active reader, now. Okay, so when it gets the notify, then the writer can start writing. Now guys, here is my start write process. Again, so we will have reader count. So now we will assume there is no other reader, no other writer, and we have database reading, is that false, and we have database, this is database. Okay, suppose I have a writer w1. I have a writer w1. So it wants to write something. So while database reading is true, is it true? Is, or database writing is true. That is not true. It is also false. So this condition will not hold. So here we will here database set database writing is true. So here set it to true. Database writing we will set it to true. Okay, and then what you will do, start writing a database. You start writing on the database. Now suppose there is another writer w, it also wants to write. So what will happen, again it will call its start write. While database writing is true, this is false. While database writing is true, yes, this is true. So this is or. So this condition will hold. So what it will do, what w2 has to do, it has to wait. Now suppose after some time this writer has finished. So then what it will do, it will call its end write process. Set db writing is equal to false. Okay, so what is this? This becomes false. So what is this? This becomes false and notify. So this notify will send signal to this waiting writer, and then what waiting writer will do, again it will call its start write. Okay, so db reading is true, db writing is true, both are false. So we come here, set db writing to true, will become true. Okay, and it will start writing a database. So guys, now this is already w2 is right. Now suppose there is another read r4, it wants to read the, now this is my condition, database writing is false, database reading is true. So what it will do, it will call its start read process. Now this is the start read process. So what is this, while db writing is equal to true. Now see, what is my db writing, db writing is true. So then what you have to do, you have to wait. So what r4 will do, r4 will wait until this becomes false. So guys, this was my write process. So guys, I hope you understand it. So guys, that's all for today. So if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'll be uploading more videos related to the different topics of IT. And all of you, thanks for watching and stay tuned.